Hey guys, Jim here. Time to get into something pretty wicked and pretty cool. This was one of my Blade Show 2014 scores. And I kind of bought it on a whim, going, oh shit, I've seen these everywhere. I've seen a lot of people talking about them, and I just need to grab one. I did end up deciding it was a size that wasn't quite for me, so I did end up selling it, and it's going to be getting shipped out here in a few moments. But I wanted to make sure I got the video done first. First off, we'll talk about the packaging. This is the standard zippered case that the SJ75 comes in, and I think all of the mixed rider customs and performance grade knives come in. And since I was already at the show and I already saw Mick a few times, I asked him if he wouldn't mind go ahead and signing the zippered pouch for me, and he was kind enough to do so. I actually bought this from a dealer. I didn't get it directly from Mick. He did not have any at the show, or at least by the time I saw him. So this was really cool of him to do. So here's the deal. This is the packaging that you're going to get. Zippered case. You've got your Velcro here for your patches, and inside is a nice soft lining, and then the extra pouch inside of here. Now, getting into the knife, the SJ75, the Sky Juice. This particular variation is done in what he calls full stealth, so everything is completely blacked out. You can get half stealth, full stealth. Half stealth would be one half of the knife being done in the black chromium nitride, the other half and whatever other finish. This particular knife is a beast, and that was the thing. It's huge, but it's got great ergonomics. It really, really feels good in the hand. It's not as cumbersome of a knife as you would expect it to be. The knife is 9 1/4 inches overall length, so it's a big-ass knife. You've got a 4-inch cutting surface and about a 4 1/4 inch exposed blade. I know on the notations that Mick had made somewhere, I don't remember where it was, the actual, from the pivot center forward, he called it 4.625 inches. And it's thicker than it seems. It's actually 190 thousandths thick on the blade stock. It doesn't seem that thick because the handles are so bulky, but it's hard to even say that because of the contouring. It makes it seem bulky, but it's not really thick slabs of titanium here. You've got an interesting way of closing and opening this knife. Now you'll notice where the pivot point is. It's not sitting up in the center of the handle. It's down here. So your actual pivot point is all the way down here. So it's an odd system, and I didn't think I'd be able to get used to it because I've had problems with my thumb reaching certain makers, thumb discs and thumb studs and things like that. Yet no problems whatsoever, and the action on it is fantastic. This isn't on bearings, this is phosphor bronze washers, and the action on it is just fantastic. There's also a unique system for the closing. What he's doing, it's almost like, I don't want to call it a double detent because there's really only one detent in there, but when you unlock it, and if you let the lock bar go, because of the placement of the pivot, because of the pivot and the detent, it actually stops it right there. And Mick says this was purposefully done so that you have to really take a conscious effort to close this knife. You didn't want to see anybody so easily drop the blade on their thumb because it is a very smooth action. So it is 2 basic steps there, or just hold the lock bar longer until you get past that point. I gotta tell you, I was pretty damn amazed by this thing. It's a lot smoother than I had ever experienced with a knife built the way that this is. Again, it's not bearings or anything like that. You've also got a very interesting pivot on here. This is the skull pivot that he's put on this. And he's actually radiused it in the same shape as the radius on the handles as well. This thing is really, really awesome. So basically everything except for the blade, the clip screw, and the pivot are all titanium. So it's lighter weight than you would expect it to be. And that is a big-ass blade on there, yet it still feels like a lightweight package for the size of knife that it is. I like the fact that there is a lanyard option on here. For those of us that do prefer to carry lanyards on certain knives, it's nice to have that option. And you've really only got 2 points holding this knife together. These are actually press fit. The stops are press fit for open and closed. All you've got holding this knife together is just the pivot and the clip screw. And the clip screw goes all the way through this standoff here. And that's it. It's a very minimalistic sort of thing. Oh, it just feels incredible. It's a big handful when it's closed. It really, I wear a size large glove, and it's a bit of a challenge for me to close my hand around it. One of the things that I enjoy about this knife is the fact that it is done in the full stealth. And you know what? And the ones that he's done in the heat anodizing and the bead blasted blades and stone washing and stuff, they look great. But there's something about seeing this in the full stealth that gives you a wholly different impression of this knife. When I had a chance to play with the Performance PT, I had the opportunity when I was playing with it to buy it from the owner who sent it to me to borrow. And I came really close to doing it because I fell in love with the look and the finish being in the full stealth as well. It was just way too small of a knife for me, so I ended up not buying it. And I kept talking myself in and out of it because it was just so damn slick in the full stealth. And to be honest with you, that was probably half the reason that I picked this one up and I wanted to keep it as well. And I honestly would have kept it except for the fact that Mick is making me a custom SNG right now. And he's about to release the Performance SNG. So you're going to get the same thing as you would have gotten in the Performance PT, but in a larger size. And I did ask him at the show, and he says he will be releasing some of the Performance SNGs in the full stealth. So I was sold. That was it. Now I'm going to have the finish that I want, and I'm going to have the size that I really, really enjoy from Strider. I really like that SNG size. Nothing wrong with an SMF. I just find the SNG a little bit more of a daily carry friendly piece. The only issue I would think some people would have with this as they're carrying it is the bulk this way. And somebody actually mentioned it in the, I did a post-blade show video, and this was in there with all the other knives that I had purchased. And they said, oh, I don't know how in the world you'd ever be able to carry because it's so wide. And I do realize that some people do carry other shit in their pockets. I don't. In my knife pocket, this is the only thing in that pocket. So I don't care. I'm not wearing skinny jeans. I'm not wearing capris. I'm wearing jeans. I have, decent sized pockets, and this has been no issue whatsoever. I only carried it twice, only once really outside of the house in the week or so that I've had it. But it didn't present any issues for me because I don't have to reach in that pocket for anything except to extract my knife. In my left front pocket, all I carry is the key fob to my car, and that's it. I don't carry other keys, house key, nothing like that. I come in through my garage. So I'm a very minimalistic person when it comes to shit I'm carrying around in my pockets anyway. And I'll be honest with you, yeah, the chromium nitride finishing on this is strong, but it's still a coating. It's still a coating that can get scratched off and worn off and torn up. So I certainly wouldn't be throwing pocket change and car keys and shit in the same pocket with this knife anyway. So that really was never going to be an issue for me. Give you guys a look at this side while I'm rambling here. One of the stunning things that I found about it, besides the ease of carry for the size that it is the balance. It's got a really nice balance fore and aft of the pivot. Feels great. I like the unique lock bar cutout here. I mean, it's not, the crazy wild thing, but it really is a clean look when the knife is closed. Very tight tolerances here. Very simplified clip. Yes, I would love to see on this price range of knife a better looking clip. But really, most everything that Mick does is all about, as far as the design goes, is all about tactical utility. And it's a utility clip, and I can look past it for that. If this were a dress knife, a show knife, let's say the handles were all done in mokutai and it had a Damascus blade, At that point, that's when I would want to have a machined clip instead of just a bent spring clip. But for the type of knife this is, it's something that I really don't give it a knock on because it really does fit with the style of knife that it is. So no issues there whatsoever from me. I found it to be one of the most unique and interesting knives in the hand and in operation that I've ever felt. It's just made differently. Just the way that that blade pivots, and you feel that double locking detent. Because again, he's using that detent ball kind of as a stop. So when you close the blade with just one hand, you don't have to worry about it dropping down on your finger. You can feel it when it opens as well. It's almost like a ratcheting sound. And I know sometimes my microphone doesn't pick up the sounds of the knives as well as, you know, when I just run outside with my iPhone and do a quick Instagram video. But there's that cool double click sound as it opens up. It's got a great edge to it. It's not razor sharp, but it is very, 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 very sharp. Certainly plenty enough for everyday EDC use. And what he's doing here is, it's kind of an interesting way of the way he does the blade. He actually brings it down to a zero grind, and then he comes back with just a little bit of a back bevel. So you've got something that right out of the gate was going to be incredibly strong. Very, very, very strong. Oh. So he does the zero grind, then he does the coating, then he goes back and just puts that little bit of, little tiny bit of bevel on there. And you really can't see it. It's only on this side. This side maintains that zero grind profile. And only on this side, the locking side of the knife, are you going to see the small back bevel. I just think it's a really nice way of doing things. It's got a nice prominent swedge across the top. The jimping in the frame feels good. It's a little tiny bit sharp. And then if you choke up on it, because you do have a little relief here, a little choil, I like this jimping a little bit more. It's functional, but it's not going to tear up your skin. It's going to stay well planted in the hand. And overall, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you hold this thing. It really is solid. It feels good. Great balance. Great little knife to kind of twirl and throw around and have some fun with. So if you've ever considered maybe picking one of these up and you're wondering, is it worth the money? I'll be honest with you, I think it is. I think it's a fantastically made knife. The action really exemplifies the amount of work that went into it. You've got an S35 VN blade on here, so you've got a good quality steel. The chromium nitride coating is an expensive process to apply, so you know there's going to be some expense with that. The 6AL4V titanium is really nicely machined all the way around. It's contoured. Feels really nice in the hand. There are no sharp points or hot spots. Only little sharp points are at the edges of the jimping. It's a nice clean design all the way around. The hardware looks attractive, especially the pivot, of course. I love the pivot. And I'll be honest with you, that was part of the reason I wanted to have one of these too, is I like anything with a skull motif, obviously. Having a name like mine, you're going to be into skull shit. That's the way it is. There's jimping around the back section here as well. And it's just an easy knife to get to know. When you see the pictures and you see videos and you realize just how large this is, and you see how wide and tall it is, a lot of people think it's going to be unwieldy. I was surprised. It feels good in the hand. It didn't have an issue for me, carrying it, like I said, because I don't carry anything else in that pocket. I don't really walk around with my hands in my pocket either. If you're the kind of person, you're going to want to carry shit in the same pocket. You're the kind of person that sticks your hands in your pockets all the time. This may not be the best carry choice for you. If you're not comfortable carrying a 4-inch plus bladed knife, again, probably not going to be the best idea for you. But if you're just getting into that larger size knife, you already know that you have that interest, you're going to make that step up. I think this is a good way to go, because a lot of the titanium and 4-inch steel bladed knives that you're going to come across are going to be heavier, may not have such friendly ergonomics, and it may not feel as good in the hand and in the pocket. So this might be a nice entryway into that size range. they're expensive. I mean, let's just face it, they are expensive. And right now the secondary market is pretty high as well. When I was researching, they were going on the forums and in eBay and things like that for $1,600, $1,700, $1,800. So I wanted to put a better deal on it when I sold it. So the gentleman that purchased it from me did not pay anywhere near that, actually hundreds less, because I wanted to be as fair as possible. And I didn't get raked over the coals when I bought it either. So it allowed me that freedom to be able to do that. So I really think that the future recipient of this, who might end up posting on the comment section here, I think he's going to be really happy. And even if it's not a knife that he carries every single day, I think that it's because he got a better deal on it, it's going to be a little bit easier for him to kind of go, I'm just going to hold on to it because I'm getting my money's worth. If I carry it maybe once or twice a month, I'm still kind of getting my money's worth out of it. So overall, yes, it's a big knife. If it were just the tiniest bit smaller, I would not have considered getting rid of it. But I can't fault the knife for that because I knew how big it was when I was initially interested in it. I obviously knew how big it was when I handled it at the show and decided to get it. And I guess it's because I bought so many knives at once, buying 20, 21, or whatever it was during the show. There's so many different flavors in there that it's hard to. If I had just bought this one, maybe I just would have gone, I'm just going to carry it for a week straight, get used to it, and fall in love with it. But that wasn't the case. But that's the only one thing I can really knock about this knife. So if you know you're comfortable with a larger knife, dude, this thing is going to be fucking amazing. It is one of the most comfortable knives I've had a chance to handle in this size range. So Mick, another great job. Fantastic design. Unique. It's different. It doesn't look like every other knife out there. It doesn't function like every other knife out there. It's smooth action. It's big and it's beefy and it's heavy. Yet somehow, as you're looking at it and as you're saying how damn heavy and chunky this is, you go, but it's really not that heavy. And that's all in the balance. So kudos to Mick for making another fantastic piece. Still astonished at that action. On a thumb slot with a blade that big, with a pivot that far down, that damn thing just flies out of there. All right, guys, I'm going to hop out of here for now. Just want to make sure you got a chance to see this. There you see the phosphor bronze washers in there. I wanted you to get a nice look at this before I packaged it up and sent it on its way. Really just badass knife. Anytime you put anything all black, it's just going to be badass. So I definitely look forward to the performance SNGs that will be coming in full stealth. Of course, I look forward to my custom. And I'm not going to give anything away on that, but I'll say this. It will be a true one-of-a-kind. It was a pretty fun experience, what I did with Mick to have that one made. So hopefully in the next couple of months that should be done. Talked to him about it back in November of 2012. As you guys know, he is extraordinarily backlogged and he has to do things systematically. If he's not making a run of SNGs, you're not going to get your custom SNG. It's going to kind of fall into line with what he's producing. And on the business standpoint, that makes sense. So it's been a long wait, but it's going to be so well worth it. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. I'll try to get some more videos up as quickly as I can. I still got to get a lot more done for the Blade Show acquisitions. And I have a huge amount of Mikkel Williamson Urban Tactical knives here to show you guys as well. So I'm going to hop off of here and get to it. Thanks.